Yes, hello everyone. Good evening. This is Excellentia International Institute again. And as usual, we are here for our webinars that we hold every Saturday at around this time with Mr. Hamza Junju, who is a renowned teacher and also a certified sports administrator from the International Olympics Committee. Mr. Hamza is also the chairman of Futsal Association Uganda, and also the CEO of Express FC, and we have something special for you. uh, I mean, as we're beginning there, we are looking at something very important, and it is going to be a series of webinars. So this webinar and the coming two webinars are going to be addressing a specific topic, and that is professionalism and why it is important to be a professional. Yes, we talked about talent, we talked about career, we talked about a number of things, but now, how do you position yourself as a professional uh, person? But to be more specific, because we are hosting a man of sports, we shall be looking at how to position or how to become a professional sports person, because we believe that can help us very much. And this is what we are going to be talking about tonight. And I will welcome Mr. Hamza. Please welcome again, Mr.
Thanks a lot. I'm glad to be back here to deliberate more on how we can improve people's careers, how they can attain professionalism, and it goes back to where we started with the talent development, and we are still discussing this to enlighten people more, especially today in the line of sport, that sport is a profession anyone can attain and be like a doctor.
Uh,
So I'm glad to be here and I'm ready to go.
yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Hamza. And like he has said, when we talk about professionalism, we're not only referring to sports, but we are choosing sports because we have a professional person here who can help us. But these are definitely universal rules, universal ways to develop your professionalism in whatever you're doing. Because Mr. Hamza, maybe we should start there. What is
Mm.
professionalism? Because when we talk about professional, becoming a professional person, what does it mean? Why is it even necessary? Are there any misconceptions? Because we need to clear this term and understand why it is necessary. Then we can go ahead.
Yeah, we discussed that. Thank you. We discussed that very term some time back. But what is professionalism? We looked at, I'll use the simplified words. One, professionalism involves one being paid for what you do,
Okay.
but you'd only be paid because of the skill. And remember, we said the skill is attained from your talent. So we said majority talented, later developed players or athletes attain skills to become experts. And when you become an expert, one is ready to sign you off. So professionally, you are doing a particular job for a pay. And earlier on, we discussed that professionalism involves contracting, and a professional person can later be developed into a brand that can get him or her a lot of endorsements, which later result into money, because majority of people are looking for that. So
Mm.
professionalism involves work with pay, but with cleared documentation, so that the legalities are well catered for. That's why we are saying it's high time we look at sport as a profession, because we believe majority of people are talented sport-wise. We have athletes, or the simplified word, we have runners, we've seen footballers, rugby players, and you find that through our childhood, everyone tried to play a particular game. Now we are saying, how can we turn these talents and develop them into professionals? And this involves a number of tasks or development categories, as we are going to discuss.
Okay.
However, you realize the introduction to this is one, that the modern day world is more competitive, and the modern game requires a professional person. A professional person, this is a player dedicated to a particular sport. Examples we have today, we have Ronaldo, we have Messi, We've seen other players in other fields of athletics and many other things. Now we are saying the small details now differentiate teams. The uniqueness of a particular player helps a particular team to defeat the other. The uniqueness of a particular athlete helps his country win gold all over. And we are saying concentration and focus of these differentiates an amateur and a pro athlete. In the world, it is well known. We have amateurs and we have pro athletes. But the difference between the two, this is mostly seen when we have, I may say, country games. The time comes when Uganda is maybe playing England. Then you look, you'll see the difference in quality. But remember, quality is just built. Because we said in the beginning, the earlier topics, when a talent is developed and gets skills and expertise, this turns into quality output. Or when you see quality countries or nations playing against each other, normally we watch World Cup, and you see Brazil playing against Portugal. You see Rio, a quality game. So we are saying the difference between these two determines the results. Now, because we are from the African continent, in particular Uganda, we have very many amateur talents in the country. That's why we can't perform at the top level. So it is our task now to look at it critically, that with all the talent we have, can we move them from amateurism to professionalism? This will involve the player himself and will involve administrators of games to make sure that this talent changes from amateurism to a professional level so that they are able to compete. Therefore, it is important to prepare pro athletes from the right ages. Remember, we said talent is God-given, meaning from year one, one can be talented. But how it is nurtured through stages, age per age, by the time one is an adult, must be a full professional, ready to bring the required output and the required results. Later on, you talked of misconceptions. This normally happens.
Because it happens. I mean, when it comes to terms, when we start speaking that language of terms, there is always a lot that is not understood or misunderstood, and you will find it everywhere. And to be maybe specific, when we talk about sport and becoming a professional sports person, are there any misconceptions that you would love to clear before we can proceed to our next subtopic?
Yes, these are majorly between people. I'll give misconception number one, that one has to be extra talented and born a footballer. You've normally seen people saying, abo family yabwe iyo bweti bazanyi baki ba mupiira. That is the local language.
Ngagwe, Mr. Jim.
No. So we are saying in the modern day administration, one can be made a professional footballer. So it's not that one is born a footballer, one is born an athlete. But the things you do to this talent at the right age, to the age of adulthood, can make him a better player than when he's not tampered with. We shall see the development levels we are talking about. There is another saying that this runs in the family, where people think particular families are of a particular sport. You'll find that that family has uniqueness in what it does. I'll give a good example here. We've had these ladies that play lawn tennis, Serena Williams, the Williams family. It's because their father, from the right age, turned into almost their coach and mentor and groomed them specifically for that sport. And in the end, we saw them as complete tennis players. Then another misconception is that one must be very quick and explosive when running and playing the ball. You find coaches and others telling people, you must be fast, you must move very fast. But at the same time, we've seen slow players make it. Locally in Uganda, we've seen people like Freddie Tamale in the past. And in Europe, we are seeing players like Ozil playing at the international level. But they are not as fast as Ronaldo or as athletes. Then there is another misconception that you need to start in a renowned club as a youth to reach professional status as an adult. You find people saying, if you don't take this player to a particular academy, you won't make it. But still we saw our own Sekaje in Uganda, starting out at Nagalama, going to State House, joining KCC, playing for the Cranes, going to Argentina, and finally made it to Austria, where he played with the likes of Sadio Mane, playing at Liverpool, and later on played some good football. Now he's a coach in America. So which academy did he attain? But maybe there were people along him that were mentoring him and developing him for professionalism. Then you must be very strong, tall, and have abundant muscles anywhere to make it. Then there are people who believe every sports person must be tall. But we are seeing some short people. Those who support Chelsea have seen Zola in the past. And of recent, there is Shaquille playing for Liverpool. I think these are not very tall people. So we are saying development of a person into to have a professional setting helps him succeed than assuming or assumption. That some, and there is this one which is interesting. There are people who say, for one to be successful, a professional, successful footballer or sports person, you must come from a poor family. But again, we've seen world beaters not from poor families. We've seen people like Michael Owen, who are not from a poor family. Then they are saying you must be a ball juggler. That is specific for football. That if you can't juggle the ball well, then you can't
You're
be
most likely not
the
to make
person
it.
you remember. Yes. You remember coaches, you'd go to a pitch and tell you first juggle the ball.
Hey, we
And when
had to
you
first
fail,
juggle, I remember that.
it is a good skill. But if you can't juggle, you have other attributes. Now we are saying, can the professional attributes be developed in this boy or girl so that he is able to compete? Then there is another statement. This is common in Africa. It's all about being lucky.
I've
Africans,
seen
we
that.
believe
I've
in
had
luck,
that a
but
lot.
we know luck comes to the prepared. So in other words, you must have a team around you to develop you into a complete person so that at the right time and age, you are ready for a professional setting. It takes a lot of work, as we are going to see, for one to be there where everyone wants to be. But it involves beating people because the competition in modern day sport is professional and people are competing for money for particular targets. So those are
Okay.
misconceptions we can look at.
Yeah, and they are really very, very common. I can testify to that. You have stressed something very important, Mr. Hamza. You have repeatedly said or referred to the importance of someone having to watch over the talent. Someone like a coach, someone like a mentor. You've talked about Serena Williams. You've talked about a number of people, and like there has to be someone to make the right choice, to do something practical instead of leaving the whole talent to just sheer luck. So it seems to me that having a coach in everything that a person does, having a mentor, someone you look up to, someone who has done it, someone who has seen it, is really very important if we want to develop professionalism, and especially professionalism at I mean, in the sports field. Which brings me to actually something that has come up here. Before we proceed, how can we compare a professional sports person to other professions? Because we have like medical doctors, we have lawyers, we have coaches. For example, we shall maybe talk about that, how to become a professional coach, because it is about becoming like, how can we compare? Because at home, like you understand, sport is not so something considered to be, there is no urgency when you start interacting with people, even in schools. I mean, it's not something people consider to take on for life. So I want us to compare sports as and becoming a professional. I mean, as a sports person, then with the as compared to other professionals.
So it goes back to one thing. Why we discuss the misconceptions is to relate to other professions. What does one do to become a doctor? What does one do to become a lawyer? What does one do to become an accountant? What does one do to become an engineer? Are we saying to be an engineer, it runs in the family? Are we saying to become an accountant, you must be lucky? Are we saying to be a lawyer, you must come from a poor family? Or one is born a doctor? The answer is simple, no. People sit, come up with a target, and start preparing themselves on how to be. There are clear lines on how to become a doctor. There are clear lines on how to become a lawyer. There are clear lines to become a professional accountant. And if you don't do those things, you don't become who you are or who you want to be. So we're saying, if you want to be a professional athlete or sports person, still there are documented things that one must go through to achieve professionalism in sport, so that one can turn into a professional footballer, a professional athlete, a professional tennis player. And even in Uganda, we've seen it happen. We have professional footballers. Even of recent, we have professional netballers, a girl playing in England. We have professional lawn tennis players, Mugabe playing in America. So it's all about asking ourselves, what did they do? Why are we emphasizing sport? Because we've seen that in Uganda in particular, we have very many talents here, a lot of talent, but now we are lacking on preparing them, be true to what they can do. So the preparation is very important. Good enough we realize that to be a doctor is not by luck, but you do some certain steps to prepare yourself to be a professional doctor. So it's high time now we undergo through the various development stages so that we attain what we call being a professional footballer, sports person we can talk of.
Okay, and that is very powerful. So, for the young, talented men and women out there, you should understand that this is also another profession, something you can take up and do professionally so you can get the best out of it. You're not so different from a doctor, you're not so different from an accountant, from a professional coach, from a professional teacher, because this is now you, this is your talent. And actually, you can even do better because there is a talent and there are proper processes and techniques and levels you have to go through to become that person. You get it right by way of going through the right process. You get it right like a doctor, or even better. I think that is very evident.
Yeah.
Sports people are even richer when it comes to material stuff, and they're even, when we talk about fame, they're even more famous. So you could be onto something bigger than just being a doctor. And we're not trying to belittle anyone. Doctors, I'm afraid they might get pissed. But now, having talked about that, we are looking at professional players, professional sports people. We really need to know how to make one, because this is the practical part of it. How do we, as East Africa, how do we, as Uganda, create a Ronaldo? How do you create a Messi? I mean, how do we create a Xavi? How do we create anyone that is a professional sports person? What needs to be done?
Yeah. As you've stated it, how do you create a Ronaldo? How do you create a Serena Williams? How do you create now? If you look at these people all over the world, these I normally call them, they are brands of their own. Ronaldo is a brand of his own. Serena is a brand of his own. And you find that they are almost, I may say, companies. Ronaldo as a person has a complete package. But how he was created, it involves a series of steps. There is what we call technical development of that particular product called the Ronaldo. There is what we call the economic part of development and the
Mhm.
social part of the product you see on pitch. In Messi and in Ronaldo. So from the beginning, if you discover that your child is talented, can you sit down and ask yourself how you're going to develop him technically, economically, and socially? That's where the difference is. And if we can do all this, then the future is bright. And as we said, for today's case, we shall look at one chapter of it or one development part of it. And today we shall
Okay.
major look at the technical. So what I would
Mm.
like also to bring back to you,
Okay.
do you realize that all these are important to a person? Technically, what comes to your mind?
Because we
Economically, what comes to your mind? And socially, how do you see Ronaldo technically? How do you see Messi technically or socially? This is what makes them earn a lot of money, as majority people look for it. But we normally say this is what has helped them earn success, because they are not only successful money wise, but they are successful in everything they do. Or
mm.
I don't know. I may need like 2 minutes.
It is okay.
Give me a break of 2 minutes. I edit something here.
All right,
A
no
2 minute
problem.
break. Yeah.
Okay, please.
Yeah.
As Mr. Hamza is coming back, uh, we are talking. I see we have some. Let me see. Okay, Zuleika. Zuleika is saying, "Good evening." We have Mbura Siraj watching from Wankurukuku. We have Sophia, best, my best. Assalamu alaikum, wa alaikum salam, Sophia. Uh, Swift, thanks for being here. This is all very important. And yeah, I'm trying to look through the chat. Maybe there are some questions. So far, I cannot see any. People are just watching and people are enjoying. And let's invite. Okay. Thank you. Bizo Swift, this is important. Someone is like, let us invite. And all these are talents, actually. Someone who comes and sees something good, then they think about their friends. That is really very important and very nice of you, Bizo. We are talking about professionalism and how to become a professional at whatever you do. There are stages that you have to go through. You cannot cheat. Okay. Yes, today we are putting a sports person or I mean a professional sports person in the spotlight, but these are universal principles. These are levels people have to go through. It is not just about the talent, it is about the process that has to take you to become a brand. Because right now, Mr. Hamza has just told us that we we are talking about technical development. We are talking about social development. We are talking about economic development. And these are all things that we have to work on and consider if we are to become professional at whatever we are doing. You need to have some
Mm.
technical bit of knowledge, and we stressed this in the previous webinars, Mr. Hamza. I remember we talked about
Yeah.
skills and how important it is for you to practice. Then we also talked about the, maybe we shall stress it in the coming episode, social
Yeah.
development. Being the fact that we are social beings, anyone who does not
Mm.
do well socially, who does not have the skill to
Mm.
manage human connection, I mean communicate properly, or like we shall see,
Mm.
cannot be successful. It doesn't matter the
Mm.
talent, and I think we have seen this in schools, even academically. You are a teacher, Mr. Hamza. Someone who cannot
Yes. Yes.
grow socially, they usually fail,
Mm.
even when they have the highest IQ around. And
Yeah.
we have seen this in talented sports people, because one of the things that should make you a decorated sports person is the discipline, is how you relate with others, is how you conduct yourself on media, because you represent something big in the human society.
True.
And we
True.
also talked about the economic development. And these are things we are going to be talking about in the coming what? Today, because of the time, we are looking at the technical development, just that. Then in the coming two
Okay.
webinars, we shall be looking at the social development, then we shall be looking at the economic development. Then after the three webinars, we expect, and you should expect, dear viewer, that you will be able to have all that you need as information to become a professional person. All that will be remaining shall be your practice and the willingness to push through. Mr. Hamza, I don't know if you are ready to come back.
Yeah, I'm now ready to come back.
Okay, thank you very much. And that is a recap for those who have just joined. Fortunately or unfortunately, there are no questions. We can proceed.
So we are saying to create a Ronaldo or a Messi or a Serena Williams and many other athletes all over the world, you focus on three areas of development of this particular talent: technical development, economic development, and social development. And today we said we are discussing majorly the technical development aspect. What is important here, the technical work involves work done on a player particularly, or training he undergoes on pitch and off pitch, but just to prepare him perform on the pitch. So we are saying any pro athlete or sports person you see outside there undergoes a technical development cycle at different ages. When you see someone playing football at the age of 18, it doesn't mean that preparation began at 18. In the developed worlds, preparation begins at 6 years. Now, by the time he's 18, he has been training for like 12 years almost. So, we are saying this kind of technical training is divided into two: on-field technical development activities and off-field technical development activities.
Okay.
So these are very vital in what you do. And we're going to handle one by one. Then we shall be able to understand what it takes for one to be a Ronaldo, a Messi, a Serena Williams, and many other successful athletes, a David Beckham. Of recent, we can say a Sadio Mane, and we can talk of even other sports activities. There is a boxer who has a lot of money, I'm forgetting his name, Mayweather, etc. So we're going to talk of the human resource quality. Now, these are people who work hand in hand with the player. Is he being handled by the quality coach, qualitative? In other words, for a player to come out, he must have a true quality coaches, qualified coaches to develop his muscles, qualified coaches to develop his mental strength, qualified coaches to handle his nutrition, qualified coaches to guide him through on what to develop to enhance performance. And what you see on the pitch, on the football pitch, on the athletics court, everywhere you see sport, the quality of coaches matter. And that's why of recent you see results are related to coaches. People can now assume that that coach will defeat, that team will defeat the other team.
Yeah,
that
is
person
right.
will do because of the coaches. So as you develop your son into a complete profession, do you have a plan to have quality coaches around your player? That is the only way. If you own a club, do you have quality coaches? That is a question to handle. That's why some of you follow Ronaldo on YouTube. You see him, he went ahead even and employed his own personal quality coaches that monitor him beyond the club hours. Then there is a statement or a practice we call repetitiveness. Normally, training must take a minimum of 10,000 hours. If you're a footballer, by the time you become professional, you must have interacted with the ball 10,000 hours. So, meaning, how often do you train? If you're an athlete, have you been on that court running to hit 1,000 hours? If you're into boxing, have you been to the ring and you've accumulated 10,000 hours to be able to compete at the world level. This is something that has been proven all over the world, and of recent, China is adopting this, where it is putting kids into academies and they're interacting with the ball, and hours are noted to prove that it is really true. By the time someone interacts with the ball, 10,000 hours is ready to compete at the world level. So you, a player who is in Uganda, how often do you train? Do you only go for club training and after what happens? Then area 3 we need to emphasize is
I think maybe if I chip in a little bit, I think most of our people at home would rather exercise in the evening and tomorrow do some work in go do some retail work in some retail shop, or do some other work. Then sports becomes as a by the way. And
so when
now
you treat it as leisure, you become an amateur. If you treat it as work, you become a what?
a
A
profession.
professional. That's why we're
And this
saying.
mm, go ahead, please. And this
That's
is
why we are
very
saying.
important.
Yes, go ahead.
You talked about the HR quality, the coaches, and how Ronaldo uh, actually had to hire personal coaches, and this is something we usually stress here at Excellence. To be able to succeed in anything, you need a coach, and we shall talk about why a coach and who is a coach maybe in the later episodes. But it is very important. Then the second thing, for those who have just come in, we're looking at the 10,000 hours of repetitiveness. I mean, and this is also a concept, a very big concept in developing any skill and becoming better at anything. I remember days you were still studying. There had to be hours at the university. You had to 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 be accredited. And the thing happens here in our coaching programs, certified coach programs here at Excellencia. There has to be a number of hours, according to International Coach Federation, that a coach has to undertake. Coaches in class, hours in class and hours in practice. So this is really something very important. I just wanted to make it even broader, so those who are not sports people here can also benefit.
Then
Um, Thank you, please.
highlight number 3 is equipment. As a parent developing your son into a professional footballer, professional athlete, as a club developing these players into professionals, do you have the right equipment in the form
Mhm.
of shoes? In other words, you select a sport and you must know the equipment you must have. If you're into athletics, cross country, do you have where to train? If you're into 100 meters, 400 meters, do you have a pitch where to train? In other words, do you have access to everything you need that the sport requires? This is where the
Mm.
parent now comes in. Can you always avail your son, your daughter? And if you're already playing, can you avail yourself with some of these equipment? Because remember, you're striving to land into a career that will take the most part of your life, but when you're happy about it and you're successful. All world beaters have specialized training and they have set up their own home gyms where everything is in there. So,
Mm.
as you prepare, do you have the right equipment?
Okay.
Another highlight that is important, being
Uh, be,
athletic.
be, Before we go further, I see some comments here. There is some brother Rauf is saying I tried more than 10,000 hours. I don't know what that means, but I don't know if you wanted to tell us that he's now a professional or he's, I don't know. Do you think you can understand what he's saying?
Maybe he thinks he trained more than 10,000 hours, but we are not saying each highlight goes alone. Did he have the right coaches?
Oh, okay.
Did he have the right equipment?
Mm.
And how old is he? In our earlier topics, giving up. If he gave up, he lost the hours and went back to zero. Can he keep pushing, but learning
So
what he
it's not
missed,
about
so that
completing the hours. It is about consistency, discipline,
yeah,
coaches, all these
a
pieces
number
having
of
to
things.
be okay. Someone is saying they are very expensive, the equipment.
Yes, through the expensive. That's why we are saying, if one is still below 18, can you involve a parent? Because this is an investment. It's like setting up a business. Nothing is simple. Some are expensive, some can be got. Some can be got through donations. So it's a matter of planning the whole process and see what you can get, what you can have in place, so that you come out successful. But if you're still a young person, there is need to involve the parent. You can't go alone. Then sit about it, think about it, plan it, and move to that direction.
One more comment, please, that might require your. In Uganda, we have talent but can't afford equipment. What can we say about this?
No, some are afford. I don't know what he means by can't afford, but some are affordable. We have various type of balls. Me, I'm into football. There are balls that go for 40,000 shillings, and there are balls that go for 250,000 shillings. Or you can access them through schools. Can you go to the right schools that meet your dream? Some schools have these. Yes, as all over the world, the challenges are there. Even in Europe, they have winter seasons. So nothing comes on a silver what? Plate, but it goes back to planning and strategizing on how you can achieve the best.
Okay. Thank you
Yes.
very much, Mr. Hamza. I think we can continue now.
Still, we can talk of now genetics, the person's biology. We said the earlier topics as we were discussing talent that you discover yourself. So we are saying, whereas it is true genetics plays a role in key physical attributes, they are tools to develop players athletically. So at first, assess your body, what it lacks and what it has. Then after understanding the weaknesses of the body makeup, then strategically work on where you are weak so that you can bring out complete performance. Because naturally, everyone has strong and weak points. That's why we are saying discover yourself, work upon your weak points. It is even related to the next one, physicality, the physical setup. That is the upper and lower body strength. Strength is part of sport. That's why we have strength exercises. And these can be even done at home. It's a matter of making research, but these are personal training habits. These are things a person can do alone to make your upper body stronger and lower body stronger. These are things any person can work on almost daily to attain a balanced body with balanced strength to perform to the best. Then we have another aspect of agility. What is agility? The ability to make quick, light, and easy movements with mental alertness. Majority here have seen footballers. You've seen Ronaldinho play a pass. We are talking of mental alertness. So these are exercises that develop your mental strength. Being alert in all situations. You've seen dummy moves in football. You've seen blind passes. One passing the ball when he's not looking at that particular side. So all of these are prepared. So can you prepare yourself to be agile so that you're able to make quick, light, and easy movements with mental alertness? Now, mental automatically goes back. Do you have the right coaches? Because you can't easily develop these by yourself. Then speed and acceleration. The ability to run fast and long with or without the ball, with or without the tennis ball, with or without the netball, I may say netball ball. Because we are competing. So, again, there are speed and acceleration exercises. How often do you do them to put your body to the required what? Level? We are talking of power. Do you do power exercises? Because however much you like it, sport has the power aspect of it. So, do you train enough to attain power exercises? Then skill. If we are talking of skill in line with the football, We can even be specific. What are your heading skills? What is your heading skill? Passing skill, tackling, but these are common in all games. Even if we talk of netball, there is passing, there is damming, dribbling, there is the catching skill. Even if we talk of now athletics, normally we see these people running very many laps. The last part of it, acceleration and speed towards the end, maintaining momentum. So do you work on all these strategies and skills so that you are able to be a world beater?
Okay.
So these are things that we must look at. Then we are looking at HR quality, the human resource. We talked of the coach at first, but we
Yeah,
need
but
managers around us.
if I may
This
please chip,
influence. Hmm? You can
excuse
chip
me,
in.
if I may chip in, I see people asking here. We have just joined. We don't know. For those who do not know what we are talking about, we are actually talking about how to grow professionalism, how to become a professional person. Okay, a professional at whatever you do. However, we chose sport. Okay, to look at sports and how to nurture a sports person in particular. These things we are talking about are universal. And we have said, according to what Mr. Hamza has presented, we need to have three stages or three processes working together. Okay, we have the technical development, we have the social development, and we have the economic development. You cannot just work on one and leave the other. However, we have decided for today's webinar to talk about the technical development, and it is what we are now trying to explain. We've said talent is not enough, understanding what you want is not enough. This is how you go professional, and this is how you become a brand. These are things you have to do, these are things you have to consider. So those who were asking what we are talking about, doesn't matter if you are aspiring to be anything, a motivation speaker, you want to become a doctor, an accountant, an entrepreneur, it doesn't matter. There has to be work you need to do on the technical bit of it. There has to be work socially. There has to be work on the economic part. So this is what we are discussing tonight. I hope now everyone is with us. Um, okay. Okay. We shall come back to these comments. Let us first talk about the HR quality. You were still explaining.
HR, human resource. We said one, you need the quality coaches. Now we shall go those off pitch. Do you have quality managers? And managers, one of the managers that are very vital are the parents. What is the parental instinct towards what you do? Are they positive about what you are chasing? So we
Mhm.
need a parent every time, whether you are an adult or not. The parent must consent to what you do and always bring that role, the influence he passes on. Plus other managers, as we shall go to marketing, then we shall need economic managers. As we go to social, we shall need social managers, people who manage you in particular situations, so that you are able to concentrate on delivering what is expected out of you and them doing what is expected out of them. Because when you become professional, you become almost a brand or a company or an industry where you have people working alongside you to bring success.
Okay.
Then we can talk of competition. Do you have a competitive gene? It is very important. You should know that in the world, we are competing. So do you have that competitiveness to be the best you can? And we normally say competition is within yourself. Can you push yourself to the level where you are the best in the world? Because there is a statement that normally say, fight for the moon, so that if all fails, you land into the what? The
Hey,
sky.
yeah. You
So
you
the
aim you
competitive
aim at
gene is very
that.
important. Yes.
Yeah, I was just trying to say that you aim at the moon, then you
You land
you
in the sky. You fall is not. if there are people better than you in most cases. Then
Yeah.
health, the sporting and non-sporting health of players. Body impairments identified early may be fixed. So before you choose a particular sporting career or sporting profession, can you do a health checkup so that if you have some impairments, they are worked upon as early as possible.
And
Health.
I think by health here, I wish to just, maybe say something to the viewers that when we talk about health, it is not just necessarily physical. It could be something mental that calls for some mental, I mean, attention from the mental experts. Okay, so we are talking about developing a human being right from the earliest stages, and how to position them to be a profession. And health is something to look at in everything that you do. Sport is our topic, but also if there are any cognitive challenges, because some kids might need attention, and this is something we don't really give attention to, and it is very absurd. There is some attention that is psychological. There are some kids that need to be attended to right from an early stage psychologically if they are to become whatever you want them to become later. But they usually go unnoticed. So health, it goes physical, and health goes mental, and
Hand
health
in hand.
goes, yeah. Yes, please.
Then we can talk of nutrition.
Yeah.
Diet is paramount in body development and energy banking, recovery from injuries, and general health. Do you have a nutritionist on your team to guide
Mm.
you on the best diet to develop your body and be ready to compete
What
at
should
the world
someone
level?
down there, someone just listening to this and watching us, someone who doesn't know that there is a nutritionist, but he's a talented, or she's a talented uh, sports person, what
As we
can that
know,
person do? I mean, they eat their sugar cane, they eat their normal
yeah.
food, commando, for example.
No, you
What
see,
can we?
the world is now one village. It's a matter of, I normally tell people, use the internet very well. Go online, ask questions, people will answer. Look for professional sites. Nutritional sites are everywhere. Inquire from institutes like yours for guidance. So, in other words, there is no need to worry about anything. We are lucky now, the world is one village. Simple
Mm.
access internet, ask.
The internet
You'll
is
get
not
the
just
answers.
and Facebook.
It's not, it's not what?
The internet is not just about WhatsApp and Facebook. There is knowledge, there
Yes.
is stuff to learn.
So it's a matter of putting yourself in. We discussed it, I think, last week. Research, research, research.
Very good. Yeah.
Keep searching information on whatever you want to become. Then you will become.
Okay.
Then lastly, I think we can discuss the marketing aspect. That a professional athlete is a commercial good. And the presentation in looks and the communication of field is part of the game. So we are not building this professional person for just to score goals, for just to win gold. That's why I was reading an article somewhere. We have athletes all over the world that have won medals, but they are not marketable. And we have some that win once or twice, and they are
And they are
marketable
everywhere.
everywhere. And they are one of the best earners in the world. So sport is
Mm.
not all about just winning medals and scoring goals. It's presenting
Mm-hmm.
yourself as a commercial good. How do you interact with the media? How do you answer questions? Because this can make you a star or can break you as
And
a
we talked
player.
about it as personal branding last time. Only that
Yeah.
this time we are talking about it from a broader perspective as a professional. That
Yes.
it matters that you come out to the world and present yourself to everyone. So you become not only a good player, not only but also a brand, and also uh, a product, and
A
and and
product.
and yeah.
So those are things a person must look at to develop himself into a professional person. But the last stage you can talk about is now the growth in line, because we discussed this in the beginning, how you develop at each age or at each age step. Now, this majorly goes to the parent, because some people may not know. As a parent, after discovering your kid talented between the age of 6 to 10, here one is at the academy, playing for fun and undergoing the filtering process to see if he has interest or not. But make sure between 6, because real training begins at 6 years. 6 to 10, one must be at the academy. Then 10 to 16 at a sports school. Now one may ask, do we have sports schools in Uganda? At least be in a school that is related to a particular sport. It's very important. If where your kid goes to school there is no sport, then it means in the evening hours this kid must be delivered to where a particular sport is. So it is very important, because you are developing a sports person. You can't do away with the sports education. At the age of 17, one must be at a professional club. If it is football, now we have the juniors league. By 17, you must be playing in a juniors league team of a professional club. If it is athletics, at 17, you must be at a professional club. If it is badminton, at 17, you must be, because we are talking of world beaters. By the age of 20, you must have played for a national team. And we are lucky nowadays, national teams begin as early as 15. So if your kid has ever played for any national team, whether under 12 or the what, it is a sign that is ready for world competitions. So can we sit back and technically help this boy develop to be a world beater? Then success will come our way. We shall have a professional athlete to compete with the best in the world.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hamza. It has been very, very deep of a discussion, a lot of technical words and terms, but you can always keep on rewatching. You can come and watch this, and in case you don't understand something, you can always ask. This is Excellencia. This is Mr. Hamza, who is a certified sports administrator, and we were looking at professionalism, how to become a professional at whatever you do, and we have been going in depth in matters that concern developing a professional sports person. And I understand talent is everywhere, and people are concerned because if the education system is no longer enough to create employment, to bring to earn people what they are aspiring to earn, then talent and sport is definitely something we are looking at, and it is something we cannot ignore as Excellencia, as Express FC, as every concerned citizen who really is concerned for the future of the next generation. Mr. Hamza, as we close, how can we summarize today's topic, and what should our viewers expect in the coming episodes?
As we keep developing our young ones or talents into professional players that can make money, that can be successful, we should do it with misconceptions. You're only born with a talent. Let's polish it to be a world beater, and let's keep pushing. That's very important. Today we've discussed the technical. This is normally in simplified as a training. We've discussed off-field training and on-field training for any sport you do, and it's just one part of developing that talent you see into a professional world beater. And we are saying next time, what are we going to discuss? We still have 2 episodes to go. After developing a player technically, for him to make money, we shall now discuss the social development part, how society sees him, how he must conduct himself in society. Then at the end, we shall discuss the economic development. Now, preparing this person for money, because as normally see questions coming in here. So after understanding society, because society creates your following. Now you've developed yourself. We need followers. How do we interact with them? Then at the end, we shall discuss the economic part of it that makes you get money from the very people or the society or social development you've put in place. That's all I can say at the moment.
Thank you very much. And there is a course here at Excellencia, how to turn your followers on social media into customers and clients who can pay you. So those who missed it or those who would love to know about that, you can always reach out and you get that information. It is also another art and it is a skill. And when Mr. Hamza says we need to talk about it, some people think by developing the technical bit and the social bit, now you can earn. Entrepreneurship is something else, and uh, for your talent to serve you in this digital age, you need to have a very unique approach. It is no longer the way we used to know it before. Now there are specific techniques. There are things we shall be looking at. I'm looking forward for those episodes, Mr. Hamza. And as usual, we are very glad to have you, and we believe our viewers have benefited. I have benefited. Thank you very much. Before we go, let me not leave people cursing us. If there is a question we can attend to very fast. Isa Saddam, you are late, but you can always watch again. This one wanted the episode very much. I mean, I don't know how he has missed the webinar, but this is why we record it. You can always watch it and leave your question. Trying to look for if there are any questions raised. Zulaika is, how do you do about parents who don't support some of their children's talents? What? Because that.
Yeah, she's trying to say some parents don't mind about talent because they lack information. So what I would encourage the kid to do, find a way of linking parents to the right people. I think Excellencia can meet these parents or even some other people. We talk to them and show them the value. Normally the challenge is some parents think when you play you won't do the academic part of it. But it's all attainable and it's a matter of informing them how it can be achieved. So Zuraika, all we need is we can link to the parents and guide them through this process.
Yeah, actually, that is a brilliant suggestion, Mr. Hamza. You can always approach, let us explain to the parent, because no one can now guarantee the success of their children alone. And the world is changing very fast. We need to be to help one another. So maybe there is something we can show to the parents. I have just joined. What about music? I have just joined. I don't know what he's trying to say.
He's a musician. They are the same steps.
He want. Yeah, these are things. You can please go ahead and explain to them.
These are the same steps. Listen to the video because you've just joined. Technically, because you're saying you're a talented musician, how often do you practice? Do you have managers around you? The moment you follow the steps, it is the same approach. But today we looked at you, the talented person. What must be in place for you to become developing yourself, developing your talent to become a star? Next week we shall look at the economic and social part of it. And you as a talented musician, just do. And with the music, it is easy. Even in Uganda, you can visit various musicians that have made it. Then they can guide you through.
There is a general challenge in when it comes to our community. People do not know yet what to do. And maybe they have understood how important talent is, but
yes,
it is not working yet. That is because there are stages, there are things you have not yet done. It doesn't matter what you're doing, whether you are an innovator. Some people are just very bright upstairs. They innovate stuff. It doesn't matter. You need to go I mean, to become, to go through all these stages. So this is I mean, what we are discussing here is universal, is something you can do or you can work with in any field. All you need is some technical people, experts, like we have just explained, and it will all be good. And if you think Excellencia can serve you in that line, you can always approach. We're always with Mr. Hamza uh, when it comes to sports, and when it comes to other fields, still we have experts who can help. I think Issa Saddam is still mourning. You don't need
Let
to.
him watch the video and send his views.
Okay, I think that's it, Mr. Hamza. I thank you once again. I understand you were from a very long journey before you came to this webinar, but we thank you for that devotion and the determination and the love you have for the people and for the Ugandans in particular. Thank you very much. I hope this was very beneficial to the viewers, and see you next weekend when we shall be discussing the social development and how it is related to career development and specifically developing professional sports people. Thank you very much. See
Thanks
you
a lot.
next. Assalamu alaikum.
Inshallah.